It's become like any other drug, I guess, like cocaine or like MDMA or such, but worse in a way, because people don't really know what the prices are or like the percentage you should be getting at, etc. Like it's just all changed now. It's a lot more dangerous than it used to be.
As a priority, I'm now expecting advice from the ACMD on the cathinone group of drugs, including mephedrone.
Isn't there a danger that as we put more and more substances into the ABC classification, we merely displace the problem?
I'm introducing legislation to ban not just mephedrone and other cathinones, but also to enshrine in law a generic definition.
Mephedrone was subsequently banned on the 16th of April last year after the media storm was heightened by the deaths of the teenagers Lewis Wainwright and Nicholas Smith in early March. Their post-mortems later showed no trace of the drug, throwing the government's knee-jerk policy into greater question. A year on, mephedrone has by no means disappeared. Mixmag's recent drug survey found that 61% of people had tried the drug compared to 42% last year. Although just over half had decreased their intake or stopped altogether, the rest said either there'd been no change or even that their usage had increased.
I don't think the ban ever put anybody off of it. The effects of the drug itself would have been the only thing to push most people away at first. Because it was legal, a lot of people were trying it. So, I mean, apart from the media attention and things, you could actually see it within, the confines of society. Lots of people were quite open about doing it because it was legal. So you could see the effects that it was having on certain sections of, say, parties and things. Now, a lot of the guys who've given up on it have given up mainly because of the after effects, the consequences of doing it to their bodies, just the fact that there are better drugs out there.
Legislation will always polarise some groups of people. So there are some groups of people who will only ever perceive, a legal high as a safe thing to do. It must be fine. It's just one of those things. If it's legal, it's safe. Some people are always going to be of that opinion, and some people are going to say if it's legal, it's pointless. Why would I bother? Because they're always out for something else. Different type of people, different experience. And I think legal or not, for some people, you will find two kind of polarised groups. Some people that will have stopped altogether, and some people that have been much more interesting now, because it's a bit more hardcore.
It stopped the people that were with their friends, like, oh, do you want to try some of this? Like, it's legal, whatever. Those people might not try it so freely now, but the people that were doing it anyway are just going to keep increasing the usage as they would with any drug, basically. It's just become, it's like their fuel for the night. So those people are going to keep using it, and because of that, it will get its own kind of like underground status. So it will become like cocaine. It'll have this kind of glamour about it because it's now illegal, and that will draw certain other people in. As sad as that is, people will go for it just because of that.
A large proportion of mephedrone used to be bought online with other legal highs. Tests on seized orders were found to be consistently over 99% pure, which is extremely rare for any stimulant. Though these websites still exist, they can no longer sell to the UK. A lot of dealers who originally sold meth during its rise in popularity have also stopped, but not because of legislation.
I could actually see quite a few people really starting to look like they were breaking apart. Their bodies were sort of getting destroyed slowly. That's what stopped me from dealing it. But I think a lot of people who were in my position as to, it was quick, easy money and it wasn't illegal, get away with it. And now that a lot of people like me saw what it was doing, they've stopped. And it's allowed other people, the guys who'd usually be selling coke and things like that, they've taken up the meth trade, as it were.
Without the option of buying online, it's nearly impossible to get hold of mephedrone without a middleman. As well as the price of a gram doubling from £10 to £20 in the past year, the purity has taken a sharp drop. Dealers now cut the drug heavily to maximise profit margins, exposing users to other substances. Despite this, meth is still the fourth most popular street drug behind cocaine, MDMA and cannabis.
Previously, it was easy. It was just right there in your face. Like, wherever you went, you go to a party, it was there. It's not a problem to try it. Now you have to want to try it to find it somewhere. So that's the difference. The price is the difference, definitely, and it's just less fun because it's been cut to a bunch of shit.
You can't hide a price. You can hide how pure your drug is. Like, you can cut that 50% and they'll still get matched, and they've got no other, there's no pure source, so they won't know. Like, I could just cut it more and more, and I can cut it with whatever. Like, if I really wanted, I could cut it with speed. I could pay end up getting about $5 a gram if I buy in bulk. And even when I get that, that'll be cut as well. That'll be cut more than Mephedrone, and I can't even tell what's in that.
People do not know what they're taking, and that is dangerous for people. You know, I'm not saying that any kind of street drug you buy is going to be pure. We know that heroin is never, you know, the percentages, the police seizures tell us that heroin is never, obviously it's never even 50%. Maybe, you know, some of the stimulants are, and actually cutting things is always more hazardous for people. You know, from the point of when whatever you're snorting, whatever it does to your, you know, mucous membranes, or actually then what it's doing to your mental health if it's cut with benzodiazepines or, you know, Rohypnol or something else that's thrown in.
Whether you're for or against recreational drug use, it's hard to see whether the Mephedrone ban has done any good. If you're against, then it definitely hasn't taken the drug off of the street. And if you're for, then all it's done is make the drug far more dangerous for you to take. Whichever way you look at it, something needs to change within the UK drug policy. Last November, the UK government implemented legislation which means they can now impose a 12-month temporary ban on any new substance which comes to their attention. But it's hard to see how this will actually improve the situation.
Once a ban is in place, that changes the whole drug using pattern. The whole dynamic will change because the ban is there. So even though it's temporary legislation or not, or if it's a 12 months advisory period, actually the ban is in place, and that's changed it completely. It's not a legal high anymore, it's a banned substance. And then it will be banned. But how do then they gather their proper information in that 12-month period? And actually, when you've driven it underground already and you can't, it's even more difficult to talk to users and get people's experiences.
You know, there are all these little rules and constraints in all sorts of things we do. You know, VAT on a can of Coke, you know. You can't just go out there now selling cans of Coke and not have to pay tax or not be accountable, you know. So why should you just be able to go out there and sell Mephedrone in little, you know, plastic bags? It doesn't add up, does it? Our society doesn't work like that. So there needs to be some sense and some regulation. That's how we work. The question is how you put the regulation in.
Something does need to be done about this, but not in the direction our government will ever take, I don't think. I don't honestly think they take advice from anyone that would sell the drug or do it either. They've already fired a lot of their like chief advisors and things. If they're not going to listen to these people, I don't think they're going to listen to anyone. It makes you wonder if really they do want to make it safer